Hey everybody, how's it going? I want to talk about a book I finished that I discussed recently, Gisele Pelicot, Shame Has to Change Sides. And the reason I read this book is because I too am a survivor of rape. And I read this book and I cried. Why? Because I read things that I can't unread. And this woman, the fact that she is looks peaceful. I just want to give her a hug. And I want to point out why she is so effing brave. And I'm just going to ask you a question. Let's just say you were a victim of an assault, which had to do with being shot, stabbed, pushed, tripped, etc. You can walk out and say, "Oh, I have this scar because I was attacked and the guy stabbed me." And everyone would say, "Oh, that was terrible." But the minute that assault becomes a rape, also sexual in nature, all of a sudden the tides are turned and you are put under a flippin' microscope. And there's something that shifts in the folks who look at you, whether it be your family, law enforcement, others that have not been touched in this manner. The burden of shame falls on the person who was on the receiving end of the attack. And if we want to know why, it's because society has always blamed women. I think there's something called National Jeans Day because a woman claimed she was raped, and the judge said it's not possible because your jeans were too tight. So it's either what you wore, somehow you allowed that man to believe you wanted him to touch you. No matter what happens, the guy is always believed. And I'll tell you why. Because rape has no face. It crosses all ethnicities. And a lot of times, the rapist looks normal. They don't look like the dirty old homeless drunk stumbling down the block. No, they look like the Brock Turners of this world, or the Catholic priest. It looks like someone, aka normal. And people say certainly this common man couldn't have committed such an atrocity. Why? Because he goes to church, he holds a job, he has a family, he has a wife, he has kids at home. He's a grandfather. And these individuals have others who can vouch for them. Oh, he's a good guy. He would never do that. I've never seen him angry. He's never spoken ill of women a day in his life. And so that's why shame has to change sides. I'll tell you, when I was assaulted, I was raped and sodomized in the military by a fellow soldier, and I didn't tell. And the reason I didn't tell is because previous to that, I had been harassed every day, and fellow medics stood and watched me take a shower in the female latrine in the barracks. I told, and the military did nothing. That individual, the initial guy who watched me shower, got out with an honorable discharge. So I knew that they wouldn't take my rape seriously. And I kept quiet about it. And then when I did talk about it, I told someone who knew him, who was still friends with him. And she said, oh, he had raped me. She informed me he had raped someone. I said, he raped me too. And she said, oh, okay. It wasn't believed then either, probably. And then went on finally, after a number of years, another 10 plus years after that, after the statutes ran out, and I told. And I was finally believed, but it was past the point of no return. They called him in for an interview. Lakewood Police Department did in Washington State, and he said, I don't have to come in, I don't have to talk to you. That was true, he didn't. So he was never found guilty of my crime. A judge believed me because eventually I sat in a courtroom. But I'll tell you, the man who raped me, he was hanging out at the Legion as a fellow soldier, fellow vet with other guys. He held a position at the Legion too. And the Legion found out, they released him from that position, and he was ticked off about it. And then he blamed me when I faced him in court, and he said he hung up when I called him because he was told I was crazy. And maybe when you rape someone, you get a little crazy on the inside, a little bit, but a lot of victims like me don't want to retaliate and hurt someone. Well, some do. But I just wanted to see justice, which I never will. And I have made peace with that. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. So shame still has to change sides. And that's all there is to it. So that's all I've got, and I will be back.